Good morning, everyone. Today we are working on Unit 9, Week 1, Lesson 7, and we are taking a look at the article Chicago, an American Hub. We are going to determine two or more main ideas and how to explain how key details support them. So at the end of this lesson, you will be able to read and identify, annotate key details in a text, use key details to determine main ideas, and share your thinking with your peers. Now, if you're doing this assignment at home or while your teacher is not present, you can work in pairs with someone who you get along with working with. Now, we are looking at the article, Chicago, an American Hub. I have this open in my Benchmark Universe account so that I can annotate it. I have it in edit mode so that any changes that I make will be saved. Using my tools on the side, I'm going to open up the article, expand the size a little bit, because one of the things I want you to focus on is we're looking at this article as a whole, but we are also looking at the main idea of each subheading. So we're going to take a look at Chicago, an American Hub, one section here. Then you have the Great Chicago Fire. When you turn the page, you have the World's Columbian Exposition and Chicago Today. So you have four subheadings that you can go through and locate key details and determine the main idea. Today, we are going to take a look at paragraphs 1 and 2 together, and then you are going to go through the next three sections independently or with your partner that you choose to work with. So taking a look here, we have Chicago, an American Hub. Chicago began as a settlement on a river and quickly grew into an important and prosperous city. The city's waterways provide good highways for trade. By 1848, the Illinois and Michigan Canal was completed, creating a water link between the Great Lakes and the Mississippi River. When the railroads were built soon after, Chicago became established as a transportation hub. People flocked to this new city, searching for jobs and hoping for a better life. Many of these new residents were immigrants from Europe. People worked in factories that produced meat and tools, while others worked on the railroads. Later, Chicago manufactured industrial goods such as steel. Chicago soon became one of the largest cities in the United States. According to the U.S. Census of 1870, nearly 300,000 people called Chicago home. It was the fifth most populous city in the country at the time. So I'm going to go back to my tools, and I'm going to get my highlighter, and I'm going to change it to pink today because that's what I feel like it. And I'm going to look over here at my paragraphs 1 and 2, and I'm going to look at some of the cities explaining why Chicago began as such a great settlement. So one of the things that I'm going to underline is that Chicago became a transportation hub, which is the last sentence in the first paragraph. Now, please forgive me because I'm using a mouse to highlight, and it doesn't always do it so clearly at first. It looks a bit choppy. I'm also going to look at the next paragraph where it says that people flocked to this new city searching for jobs. That's a very important detail. That was explaining why the people came to Chicago. And also looking at the outcome of the 1870 U.S. Census, that nearly 300,000 people called Chicago home. That was an extremely important piece of the puzzle as well, because it's explaining why Chicago was so important. So I'm going to take a look at, I'm going to go back to my tools here, and I'm going to make a text box. And in the margin, I'm going to, or in your notes, you could do that as well. I'm going to do it in my margin here. I don't know what's happening with my text box. Here we go. I'm just going to change the color, and I'm going to make the size a bit bigger. And I'm going to put main idea, because this main idea is focusing just here on paragraphs 1 and 2. And I'm going to say that Chicago quickly grew into and important. Sorry for the typos. Prosperous city. And that is the main idea of my article. And of paragraphs 1 and 2, not of the whole article. Now, what your job is going to be is to go through and take a look at the next 2 sections, the Great Chicago Fire. I'm just going to save this real quick before I don't want to take a chance of losing it, which is exactly what you can do. You can hit this little cloud up here and save it, and then it says changes saved, so all of the work that you're doing doesn't get lost. I'm going to go back to my tools. I'm just going to back the size down just a little bit so that I can turn the page. So you're going to go through and do the main idea, the key details and the main idea for the Great Chicago Fire, the World Columbian Exposition, and Chicago Today. That's all for now.